You wrote that a company owes its workers dignity, fair wages, a voice. Then, your own steel mill became a battlefield. And you weren't even there to stop it. You built the largest steel empire in the world on a simple belief that wealth carries a duty to the people who create it. You even wrote a book about it. But the man running your mills while you vacationed in Scotland believed something very different, and he was the one holding the gate at Homestead. In 1889, you wrote that the rich have an obligation to lift up the people whose labor made them rich. Reporters called you the conscience of American industry. 3 years later, that reputation would depend entirely on a decision you didn't make, and a man you put in charge of making it for you. Henry Clay Frick ran your mills the way you'd never publicly admit you wanted them run. Hard, fast, and without sentiment. When the workers' union pushed back on a new contract, Frick didn't negotiate. He locked them out and brought in his own private army to hold the plant. On July 6th, 300 armed men arrived by barge to retake the plant. The workers were waiting. What followed was the deadliest labor confrontation in American history to that point, and you were 4,000 miles away, reading about it in a telegram. Before we go further, answer this one honestly in the comments, not just to yourself. If something you built broke its own promise without you personally pulling the trigger, are you still the one responsible? Hold that answer, because Carnegie never gave his. Public opinion didn't blame Frick, it blamed you. The man who wrote about workers' dignity had let his own mill become the deadliest example of the opposite, and his silence from Scotland was louder than anything he'd written. When you finally came home, you didn't apologize for Homestead. You defended Frick's decisions in public while privately writing to friends that you wished it had never happened. You got to have both, the empire's profits and the distance from its costs. Homestead didn't slow your empire down. It made it more efficient. The union that had pushed back on wages and conditions was broken, and it wouldn't recover its power in the steel industry for decades. The machine you built got exactly what it needed. It just cost more than you ever admitted in print. You spent the rest of your life giving almost all of it away. Over 2,000 libraries, funded because you believed knowledge should belong to everyone, not just people like you. That part of the gospel of wealth you kept. But ask anyone in Homestead, Pennsylvania what they remember first, and it's not the libraries. Carnegie proved a man could build a machine powerful enough to escape his own conscience. The next man on this list didn't even pretend to have one to begin with. He just made sure the machine could never be stopped. That's Rockefeller.